Eli woke up to the soft hum of the city outside his window. Even though the colony was far from Earth, it had a rhythm that reminded him of home. The sky above his apartment complex shimmered with pale turquoise light, a result of the planet's thin atmosphere and the twin suns rising slowly in the distance. He yawned, stretched, and glanced at his datapad. Another routine day in the colony, repairing machinery, checking drones, and keeping everything running smoothly. It was ordinary work, but Eli liked it. He liked the sense that even small repairs mattered in this bustling little world. As he pulled on his boots, a knock echoed from the door beside his. Eli looked over and saw his neighbor, Mara, standing there. She was an elderly woman with silver hair tied neatly in a bun and bright eyes that twinkled with energy that seemed far younger than her age. Despite her small frame, she had a presence that commanded attention. "Good morning, Eli," Mara called cheerfully. "I'm sorry to bother you so early." Eli smiled. "No bother at all, Mara. What's up?" Mara gestured toward the small kitchen inside her apartment. "It's my gravity cooker. I can't seem to fix it. It's supposed to be ready for the planetary alignment breakfast today, but it just won't work." Eli walked over to look. The cooker was humming softly, but the internal display flashed warnings in bright red letters. "Error. 42 gravity flow malfunction." Eli raised an eyebrow. I've seen this before. You might just need a small adjustment." Mara sighed, worry creasing her forehead. "I tried everything. I followed the instructions, recalibrated the field. Nothing works." Eli chuckled. "Well, I'm happy to take a look. Shouldn't take long." Mara's face lit up. "Oh, thank you. You're always so kind, Eli." Eli shrugged modestly. "It's just a small favor. No big deal." He rolled up his sleeves and knelt beside the cooker. The gravity field inside was off balance, causing the internal ingredients to float chaotically. Eli carefully adjusted the flow regulators, tightened a few screws, and replaced a small energy crystal. After a few moments, the red warning lights vanished, replaced by a calm green glow. "Try it now," he said. Mara pressed the start button. The cooker hummed smoothly, and the ingredients inside moved gracefully, spinning in perfect harmony. Steam rose gently, carrying a rich, inviting aroma. Mara clapped her hands with delight. "Oh, Eli, you did it," she exclaimed. "How can I ever thank you?" Eli shook his head. "Honestly, it's nothing, just a little adjustment. I'm glad it works." Mara smiled warmly. "Well, if you insist, I suppose breakfast tomorrow will be on me. A proper human breakfast, just for you." Eli laughed lightly. "You don't have to, really." But Mara only winked. "It's my way of saying thank you. And don't worry, it will be a breakfast you'll never forget." Eli left her apartment and returned to his own small space. The morning continued like any other, but he couldn't shake a quiet feeling of curiosity. Mara had always been a bit mysterious. She had lived in the colony longer than anyone else, and had stories about the early days of settlement that sounded like legends. He had often listened to her tales with fascination, though she rarely spoke of her life beyond the colony. The next day, Eli woke to an unusual smell drifting through his apartment, something sweet, warm, and deeply comforting. He rubbed his eyes and glanced at the clock. It was earlier than he usually woke, but the aroma pulled him from sleep instantly. Following the scent, he realized it was coming from Mara's apartment next door. Before he could knock, the door opened, and Mara appeared, holding a tray stacked with dishes that seemed almost magical. "Good morning, Eli," she greeted. "I hope you're hungry." Eli blinked in surprise. I didn't expect breakfast so soon." Mara laughed. "I promised you a breakfast you'd never forget, didn't I? Come in, come in." He stepped inside, and his eyes widened. The table was filled with plates of food that seemed ordinary at first glance. Pancakes, fruit, eggs, but each dish had a subtle glow, as if it carried energy beyond the ingredients themselves. Tiny robotic assistants hovered nearby, adjusting temperature and seasoning with perfect precision. "Wow, this looks incredible," Eli said, his voice full of awe. Mara poured a cup of steaming drink into his mug. It's not just food. I've added a few things from the garden outside the colony. Some of these ingredients are from rare plants. They're perfectly safe, but they have effects that humans might not expect. You'll feel more alert, more focused after eating. Eli raised an eyebrow, a mix of curiosity and caution in his expression. Really? Mara winked. Just a little enhancement. I promise. Nothing harmful. Consider it. A small gift for your kindness yesterday. Eli sat down, unsure what to expect, but hunger won over hesitation. He picked up his fork and took a bite of a pancake. Immediately, he felt a gentle warmth spreading through him, not just in his stomach, but in his mind. Thoughts seemed sharper, and a calm energy settled into his body. This is amazing, he said. I've never felt like this before. In the morning, Mara smiled, sitting opposite him. Sometimes, a small act of kindness deserves a special response. You helped me yesterday without expecting anything in return. That's rare. Humans like you. Humans make a difference. Eli felt a mix of humility and surprise. He had always thought of himself as just an ordinary engineer, fixing things, solving problems, and keeping life running smoothly. He had never imagined that a simple favor could carry such weight. As they ate, Mara shared stories of the early days of the colony. She spoke of explorers who had navigated strange worlds, of technologies humans had invented to survive in harsh environments, and of challenges that tested every bit of human ingenuity. Eli listened, captivated, feeling a sense of pride he had never realized he carried for his species. Humans had survived, adapted, and thrived. Even here, on a distant world. By the time breakfast was finished, Eli felt a strange sense of anticipation. He didn't know why, but he had the feeling that this morning was only the beginning of something new. Mara, with her quiet smile and twinkling eyes, seemed to know more than she let on. Thank you, Mara, he said sincerely. This is more than just breakfast. I feel ready for anything. Mara's eyes sparkled. Good. Sometimes, the world requires more than ordinary effort. And sometimes, it starts with small acts, like fixing a cooker for a neighbor. Eli laughed softly. I guess I never thought of it that way. Mara reached over and placed a hand on his shoulder. Humans are remarkable. Eli, don't ever forget that. Even a small favor can set off a chain of events that changes everything. Eli nodded, feeling a quiet excitement building inside him. He didn't know what the day would bring, but he had a sense that it would be extraordinary. For the first time in a long while, the ordinary world around him felt full of possibilities. He stood, preparing to leave. I should get back to work. The colony won't repair itself. Mara chuckled. Of course. But remember, Eli, sometimes, the most important work isn't in the machines. It's in the connections we make, the kindness we show, and the moments we share. Eli smiled, stepping back into the soft morning light of the colony. As he walked toward his workshop, he carried more than just the memory of a wonderful breakfast. He carried a renewed sense of purpose, a spark of curiosity, and an appreciation for humanity's endless potential. He didn't yet know how far this small act would take him. But for the first time in a long while, Eli felt ready to find out. The city hummed with life around him. But for Eli, the world felt a little brighter, a little fuller, and filled with quiet wonders waiting to be discovered. And it all began with one small favor. The morning sun of the colony cast long shadows across the city, its twin suns bathing the streets in soft golden light. Eli walked down the hallway of his apartment complex, still feeling the subtle warmth from Mara's breakfast lingering in his chest. He could hardly explain it. He had never experienced a meal that left him energized, alert, and quietly excited at the same time. As he passed his door, a soft knock echoed. Surprised, He looked up to see Mara standing there again, a gentle smile on her face. "Good morning, Eli," she said, her voice calm but lively. "I hope I'm not disturbing you too early." Eli shook his head. "No, not at all. I was just thinking about how unusual that breakfast was. You mentioned it had special ingredients?" Mara's eyes twinkled. "Yes. Just a few things from the botanical gardens outside the city. Rare plants, carefully prepared, nothing harmful, but they awaken certain parts of the human mind and body. You'll notice the effects, gradually." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Effects?" Mara chuckled softly. "You'll see. For now, I just wanted to check on you. Did you feel anything unusual after breakfast yesterday?" Eli thought for a moment. "Actually, yes. I felt sharper. My mind seemed clearer, and I had more energy. Even my reflexes felt a bit faster." Mara nodded approvingly. "Exactly. That was the idea. A small favor can be returned in small ways, or in ways you don't expect. Today, I have a little task for you, if you're willing." Eli frowned slightly, curious. "A task? Just a small one," Mara said, her eyes glinting with mischief. "I need someone to help me carry some research supplies to the rooftop gardens. Nothing difficult, but it requires care, and humans are better at certain things than machines, especially when subtle adjustments are needed." Eli hesitated. He was used to repairing machines, but assisting in a research task sounded unusual. Still, the energy from the breakfast made him feel ready. "Sure, I can help. Lead the way." Mara led him to a small elevator tucked into the corner of the building. The doors slid open silently, and they stepped inside. As the elevator rose, Mara began to speak. "You know, Eli, humans have always had a unique quality," she said softly. "Even in the colonies, even with all the machines and robots, humans are the ones who adapt. We notice what others don't. We fix what seems unfixable. That's why I asked for your help." Eli listened quietly. He had always thought of humans as clever, yes, but hearing Mara speak about it with such reverence made him feel proud. He realized that even ordinary people like him could make a difference. The elevator doors opened onto the rooftop, revealing the colony's extensive botanical gardens. Rows of plants stretched in neat lines, some glowing softly under artificial lights, others swaying gently in the rare breeze that the dome allowed. The air smelled fresh, filled with the scent of greenery and faint floral notes. Mara led Eli to a small cart loaded with trays of plants and delicate vials. "These are fragile," she explained. "The plants are part of an experiment. I'm testing growth cycles with low-gravity stimulation, and these vials contain extracts that enhance growth speed without harming the plants. We have to be careful." Eli nodded, careful as he lifted the trays. "Don't worry. I've handled delicate equipment before. Nothing breaks on my watch." As they worked together, Eli noticed that Mara moved with a grace and precision that came from years of experience. Every adjustment, every placement of a tray, was done with thoughtfulness. He admired her, realizing that humans could be remarkable in ways machines could never replicate. "You're a quick learner," Mara said, glancing at him with approval. "Most people wouldn't notice the subtle balance needed to keep these plants healthy. But you have a natural sense." Eli smiled, feeling a small warmth of pride. "I guess I just pay attention. That's all." Mara chuckled. "Attention is a gift. Humans notice things that machines overlook. That's why you are so valuable. Even in a world full of robots and AI, they worked side by side for hours, moving plants, checking vials, and monitoring sensors that tracked growth rates." Eli began to notice the subtle effects of the breakfast again. His mind felt clearer, decisions came quickly, and small errors he might have made in fatigue were easy to avoid. He realized that Mara's little enhancements were working exactly as she had promised. As they paused to rest, Mara handed him a small fruit from one of the plants. "Try this," she said. It's part of the same experiment. Just one bite will give you insight into the subtle energy flows of the plants. Eli hesitated for a moment, but took a bite. The fruit was sweet and crisp, but it also left a tingling warmth in his hands and a gentle clarity in his thoughts. He could sense the patterns of the garden around him, the way the plants interacted, the subtle currents of energy in the air. It was strange, but not frightening. Interesting, he said, almost in awe. I can almost feel how everything is connected. It's like the garden is alive in a way I didn't understand before. Mara nodded. Exactly. Humans can sense these things in ways machines cannot. That's why I asked for your help. You are part of this experiment now. In your own way. They continued working, the hours passing quickly. The sun reached its peak, and the light in the garden shifted, casting long shadows across the plants. Eli felt a sense of connection not just to Mara, but to the world around him. He realized that the colony was not just a place to live, but a living system that humans could influence through care, attention, and creativity. As they finished arranging the last trays, Mara stepped back and looked at Eli with a satisfied smile. Well done, she said. You have a natural talent for this. I knew the breakfast would help, but you exceeded my expectations. Eli chuckled nervously. I don't know if I did anything special. I just followed your instructions. Mara shook her head. It's more than following instructions. You observed, adapted, and solved small problems along the way. That is something uniquely human. Machines can follow patterns, but they cannot think creatively or feel responsibility in the same way. That is your gift. Eli felt a quiet pride. He had never considered himself extraordinary, but Mara's words made him realize that even ordinary humans could accomplish remarkable things when they were attentive and willing to help. As they walked back down the rooftop, Eli glanced at the city below. He could see people moving about, robots and humans working side by side. The colony thrived because of both, but he now understood that humans brought something special, a spark of creativity, empathy, and ingenuity that no machine could replicate. Thank you for today, Eli, Mara said softly as they reached the elevator. Not everyone sees the potential in small actions. You do. Remember that. Eli nodded, feeling a warmth in his chest. I will. I think I understand now. Humans really can make a difference. Mara smiled, her eyes twinkling. Yes, Eli. And sometimes, the difference starts with a small act, a favor, a meal, a choice to help. That's how extraordinary things begin. When Eli returned to his apartment, he felt changed, though he couldn't put his finger on why. The breakfast, the garden, the work with Mara, it all felt connected, as if each small step had been preparing him for something larger. The city outside buzzed with life, but Eli felt a quiet certainty that humans, with their creativity and heart, were capable of more than anyone could imagine. That night, as he lay in bed, Eli thought about Mara's words. He realized that small acts like fixing a cooker or helping with a garden could lead to unexpected opportunities, and maybe, just maybe, he was ready for whatever the universe had in store next. He closed his eyes, feeling the gentle hum of energy from the plants, the lingering effects of the breakfast, and the quiet pride of being human. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly alive, aware that even ordinary humans could leave a mark on a world far larger than themselves. And somewhere, Mara smiled, knowing that the small favor from yesterday had started something much bigger than breakfast. The morning light filtered through Eli's window, painting his small apartment in warm gold. For the past 2 days, he had felt different. The breakfast, the garden work, and Mara's mysterious energy seemed to have unlocked something inside him. He could think faster, notice details others might miss, and even small mechanical problems seemed easier to solve. He shook his head as he got out of bed. It's just the breakfast, maybe, he murmured. Or maybe I'm imagining things. Eli moved to his workstation, a corner of his apartment filled with tools, small machines, and half-finished projects. He was used to repairing drones and machinery, But today, he noticed things he had never noticed before. Tiny misalignments in the drone's motors, subtle variations in the circuitry, and even small flaws in the alloy's structure jumped out at him. As he worked, he couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was happening. He glanced toward Mara's apartment across the hall. She had been quiet the past day, but the twinkle in her eyes yesterday told him she knew more than she let on. A soft chime sounded at his door. Eli opened it to find a small robotic courier hovering with a box of delicate-looking equipment. There was no note. Only a tiny symbol he did not recognize. A circular pattern of tiny dots. Curious, he set the box on his table. Carefully, he opened it and found vials filled with glowing liquid. Small crystalline devices and sheets of paper with diagrams he had never seen before. The handwriting was neat but unfamiliar, with symbols that seemed almost alive, moving slightly as he tried to focus on them. Eli frowned. "What is this?" At that moment, Mara appeared at his door. "Ah, I see you found the delivery," she said with a gentle smile. "I wanted you to see this today." He turned to her, confusion written all over his face. "Mara, what is all this? Some kind of experiment?" Mara stepped inside, her eyes calm but full of excitement. "Yes, in a way. I have spent many years exploring other worlds, studying rare technologies and unique life forms. Most of what I collected is harmless, but some things can enhance human perception and abilities in subtle ways. The breakfast, the garden, the energy from the plants, they were all designed to prepare you." Eli blinked. "Prepare me? For what?" Mara chuckled softly. "Not for anything dangerous, I promise. Just for seeing and understanding things differently. Humans, when given the right tools, have a unique ability to solve problems, adapt quickly, and create solutions machines alone cannot imagine. That is why I wanted to work with you." Eli looked at the glowing vials and crystalline devices again. "These, will they change me?" Mara shook her head gently. "They won't change who you are. They will enhance what you already have. Focus, creativity, awareness abilities you possess but may not have realized, and only humans can use them in the way they are meant to be used. Machines cannot." Eli picked up a small crystal, studying it. It pulsed faintly in his hand, warm to the touch. "This feels alive." Mara nodded. "In a sense, it is. It reacts to human thought and intention. That is why I needed someone like you, someone who is careful, attentive, and willing to help. Your small favor yesterday was the first step. It showed me that you have the qualities needed to work with these devices." Eli felt a mix of awe and nervousness. "So, you chose me?" Mara smiled warmly. "I did. And now, if you are willing, I will show you how to use them. But first, we need to understand what we're working with." Over the next few hours, Mara taught Eli about the devices. The crystals could enhance perception, subtly improve reflexes, and even allow humans to detect energy patterns invisible to normal sensors. The glowing liquids could be applied to plants or small machines to accelerate growth or efficiency. Everything was designed carefully, with respect for life and safety. Eli listened, fascinated. He realized that humans had a natural talent for seeing patterns and connections that machines missed. He could already feel his senses sharpening. Even his hands, as he handled the crystals, felt steadier, more precise. "Try this," Mara said, handing him a small device shaped like a compass. "Focus on it. Think about something simple, like the flow of energy in your workshop." Eli did as she instructed. To his surprise, he could see faint lines of light weaving through the room, connecting machines, tools, and even small plants in the corner. It was subtle, almost like threads in a web, but he could follow them. This is incredible," he whispered. "It's like I can see how everything works together." Mara nodded. "Exactly. Humans have always had the ability to notice connections, to understand patterns. Machines can process data, yes, but they cannot truly see in this way. And that is why I am sharing this with you. Humans have a spark that is different, special. As the day passed, Eli experimented with the devices, carefully following Mara's guidance. He could sense small energy flows in the colony, notice where machines might fail before it happened, and even anticipate small changes in the environment. The breakfast and the garden work had prepared him, but this was a step further. By evening, Eli felt a quiet pride. He realized that his small acts of kindness and attention had unlocked a potential he had never imagined. Mara had not only shared technology, but also a belief in humans' unique abilities. And the more he practiced, the more he felt connected not just to the devices, but to the world around him. Eli, Mara said, breaking his thoughts. There is one more thing. She walked over to a small panel on the wall and pressed it. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a sleek, compact device. It glowed faintly, its surface covered in unfamiliar symbols. This, she explained, is a human interface from my travels. It can connect with your mind in subtle ways, helping you interpret complex data and patterns. Only humans can use it fully. Machines cannot, and I believe you are ready to try it. Eli felt a thrill of anticipation and nervousness. Me? Are you sure? Mara's smile was steady. Yes. You've shown patience, attentiveness, and curiosity. You've demonstrated the qualities that make humans remarkable. Now, it's time to take the next step. Eli reached for the device, feeling its gentle warmth. As he held it, he noticed faint pulses that seemed to sync with his heartbeat. Slowly, cautiously, he activated it. A soft glow filled his vision. And for a moment, everything seemed sharper, brighter. Lines of energy flowed before his eyes, connecting machines, plants, and even Mara. He could sense patterns, understand their functions, and anticipate changes in ways he had never thought possible. This is amazing, he breathed. It's like I can see the world in a completely new way. Mara nodded. Exactly. And remember, Eli, humans are capable of more than just seeing patterns. You can use this knowledge, your creativity, and your intuition to solve problems that machines cannot. That is your gift. That is the spark of humanity. Eli felt a quiet determination building inside him. He realized that his ordinary life, his small acts of kindness, his careful work, his curiosity, had led him to this moment. Humans, with their unique abilities, could accomplish incredible things when given the right tools and guidance. As the sun set outside the window, casting the colony in a gentle orange glow, Eli and Mara sat together, reviewing the devices and planning experiments. Eli felt more alive than he had in years, filled with a sense of purpose and pride. He understood that the small favor he had done for Mara, the breakfast, and the garden work, had been only the beginning. The world was full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. And humans, ordinary, kind, curious humans, had a spark that could make all the difference. Eli looked at Mara, gratitude and admiration in his eyes. Thank you, he said simply, for trusting me, for showing me this. Mara smiled warmly. No, Eli. Thank you, for being the kind of human who sees beyond the ordinary. You have a gift, and I am glad to help you discover it. Remember this: small acts, curiosity, and attention to detail, they can unlock extraordinary potential. You are proof of that. Eli nodded, feeling the quiet thrill of possibility. He didn't know what adventures awaited him, but he felt ready. Humans had always adapted, survived, and thrived, and now, with Mara's guidance, he could glimpse the next step, the future that only humans, with their spark, could reach. As night fell over the colony, Eli placed the devices carefully on his table, ready to continue experimenting tomorrow. He felt a quiet pride, a deep connection to humanity, and a sense of anticipation for the days to come. For Eli, it had started with a small favor, a simple breakfast, and a willingness to help. And now, it had led him to a discovery that would change the way he saw the world and the potential of humanity itself. The colony hummed with life as Eli prepared for the day. After the events of the last few days, his ordinary life felt anything but ordinary. He moved through his apartment with quiet focus, adjusting small machines and checking sensors, while his mind remained sharp, aware of patterns and energy flows he had never noticed before. A soft chime at his door announced an unexpected visitor. Eli opened it to find Mara standing there, her expression calm but serious. "Good morning, Eli," she said. "I have something important to discuss. Do you have a few minutes?" Eli nodded, curiosity piqued. "Of course. What's going on?" Mara gestured for him to follow her. "Come with me. There's a situation that requires human judgment, ingenuity, and creativity qualities that machines cannot replicate. And I believe you're ready to see why." They walked down to the colony's transport hub. Outside, sleek shuttles hovered in docking bays, their engines humming softly. Mara led Eli to a small, unmarked shuttle. "This mission is delicate," Mara explained as they entered. "A nearby settlement is experiencing atmospheric instability. The terraforming AI responsible for regulating the environment has started miscalculating. Machines alone cannot fix the subtle imbalances. We need humans, someone who can notice small patterns, adapt quickly, and solve problems that appear beyond the algorithm's reach." Eli's eyes widened. "Me? Really?" Mara smiled. "Yes. You've demonstrated patience, observation, and creativity. Those qualities are rare. That is why I asked you to help." The shuttle lifted smoothly from the docking bay, gliding into the open sky. Eli stared out the window at the colony below, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had always thought of humans as ordinary, but now, he was beginning to understand the extraordinary potential in their small actions and attention to detail. After a short flight, they arrived at the settlement, a cluster of sleek buildings surrounded by controlled green zones. Mara piloted the shuttle to a landing pad near the central terraforming station. "Here we are," she said. "The AI manages the environment, temperature, humidity, oxygen levels, but it is malfunctioning in subtle ways. The plants in the green zones are responding oddly. Machines are experiencing minor malfunctions, and the population is concerned. Your task will be to observe, analyze, and propose adjustments that the AI might miss." Eli took a deep breath. "I think I understand. I'll do my best." Mara handed him a small tablet linked to the AI systems, while he kept the human interface device from yesterday strapped to his wrist. The device hummed softly, syncing with his thoughts. For the first time, Eli felt truly capable of seeing the hidden patterns in the settlement. As they walked through the green zones, Eli noticed subtle irregularities. Some plants leaned slightly towards certain energy flows, while others seemed to resist the AI's adjustments. Tiny fluctuations in humidity and temperature created microenvironments that the AI failed to account for. Machines controlling irrigation and nutrient delivery were operating efficiently, but small delays in data flow caused minor imbalances. He turned to Mara. "The AI is doing its job, but it's missing the fine details. These small patterns are creating ripple effects that could become serious problems if not addressed." Mara nodded. "Exactly. Most humans wouldn't notice, but you see it clearly. That is why human observation is indispensable. Now, show me how you would correct these patterns." Eli began methodically adjusting small parameters in the system, guided by both his intuition and the data he observed through the human interface. He altered the flow of water in certain zones, redirected energy pulses to align with the plant's natural growth patterns, and made tiny timing adjustments to the nutrient distribution system. The effects were subtle but immediate. Plants that had been leaning awkwardly straightened, energy flows in the system balanced, and machines that had been slightly misaligned returned to perfect synchronization. Mara watched quietly, impressed. "You're doing more than correcting problems," she said softly. "You're harmonizing the system. Humans have a unique ability to create balance where machines see only data." Eli felt a quiet pride. He realized that the breakfast, the garden, and Mara's guidance had not just enhanced his perception, they had prepared him for this moment. Humans, with their creativity and empathy, could achieve things machines alone could not. Hours passed as they worked through the settlement. Mara guided him, offering suggestions. But it was Eli's observations and decisions that made the difference. He noticed a small energy fluctuation near the perimeter, traced it to a misaligned solar panel array, and adjusted it manually. A minor imbalance in humidity sensors was corrected by moving a few airflow regulators. Every adjustment rippled through the system, restoring stability. By evening, the settlement's environment was fully stabilized. Plants thrived, machines hummed in harmony, and the residents began to notice the subtle improvements. Mara turned to Eli. Smiling, "You've done it," she said. "You've demonstrated something remarkable. You have the human spark, the ability to adapt, notice, and solve problems that machines alone cannot." Eli smiled, though he felt a little overwhelmed. It wasn't just me. The devices, the breakfast, your guidance, they all helped. Mara shook her head. The tools were important, yes. But the decisions, the careful observation, the empathy, that is all you. That is humanity. Machines cannot replicate it, no matter how advanced they are. Eli felt a deep sense of pride. For the first time, he truly understood the value of human qualities: observation, creativity, attention, and kindness. They were small, ordinary things, but together they created extraordinary results. As they prepared to leave the settlement, Mara handed Eli a small notebook. "Record everything you learned today. Every detail, every observation. Humans leave a mark, not only through their actions, but through the knowledge they share. This will help others in future colonies. And remember, small acts, like your small favor for me, can lead to great outcomes." Eli nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. He realized that humans had always adapted and thrived because of these qualities. Machines could assist, but they could not replace human ingenuity and care. The shuttle lifted off, carrying them back toward the colony. Eli stared out the window at the settlement below, proud of the difference he had made. He understood now that the world was full of challenges, but humans, ordinary humans, had a spark that could overcome obstacles, solve complex problems, and make life better for everyone. Mara glanced at him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the twin suns. "You see, Eli, humans have a gift. We notice patterns, adapt, create solutions, and care. That is why I brought you here. You have proven yourself, and the universe has many more opportunities for humans like you." Eli felt a quiet excitement building. He realized that this mission was only the beginning. There were countless challenges in the colony, in the galaxy, and even in unexplored worlds. And humans, with their creativity, empathy, and small acts of kindness, would always have a role to play. As the shuttle glided smoothly toward the colony, Eli reflected on the journey so far. A small favor, a mysterious breakfast, a garden of strange plants, and a human interface device. All of these steps had led him here. He had discovered a truth he had never fully appreciated. Humans had abilities that were subtle, powerful, and irreplaceable. And now, Eli was ready for more. He glanced at Mara, who smiled knowingly. "The galaxy is vast, Eli. And humans are capable of remarkable things. Remember this day, the lessons you learned, and the spark inside you. It is what makes humans extraordinary." Eli nodded, filled with determination. He knew that this was only the start. The universe had many mysteries, challenges, and opportunities waiting for humans, and he was ready to embrace them. For Eli, it had started with a simple act of kindness, but now, it had led him to understand something much larger. Humans, with their creativity, empathy, and attention, could leave a lasting impact on the galaxy. And somewhere, Mara smiled, knowing that one small favor had set in motion a chain of events that would show the universe the true potential of humanity. The colony was quiet as dawn broke, painting the city in soft shades of gold and teal. Eli walked through the streets with a sense of calm determination. The last few days had been extraordinary. He had experienced Mara's mysterious breakfast, worked in the rooftop gardens, explored the hidden technologies, and even helped stabilize a distant settlement. Each step had revealed the same truth. Humans had a spark that machines could never replicate. Eli entered Mara's apartment, carrying the small notebook she had given him. He had filled it with observations, reflections, and ideas from their work in the garden and at the settlement. Mara was already there, moving gracefully among her collection of devices, plants, and crystals. "Good morning, Eli," she said warmly. "I see you've recorded your experiences." Eli nodded. "Yes, I wanted to remember everything. The patterns, the energy flows, the small things that mattered. It all feels important." Mara smiled. "It is important. Humans make a difference. Not only through action but also through understanding. Knowledge passed on is as valuable as the work itself. And now, Eli, it's time to reflect on what you've learned." Eli set the notebook down and leaned back, thinking about everything he had experienced. He remembered the small favor he had done for Mara fixing her gravity cooker. He remembered the breakfast that had subtly enhanced his perception. He remembered the rooftop gardens, the glowing plants, and the delicate vials of liquid that seemed almost alive. And he remembered the settlement, where human observation had solved problems that machines alone could not. He realized that all these experiences were connected. Small acts of kindness, curiosity, and attention could unlock potential that no one expected. Humans were capable of remarkable things. Mara joined him, her expression calm but proud. "Eli, do you understand now why humans are so extraordinary?" Eli nodded slowly. "I think I do. It's not just the technology, or the enhancements, or even the devices. It's the choices we make, the care we show, and the way we notice things others overlook. That's what makes humans special." "Exactly," Mara said. "Machines can follow instructions perfectly, calculate data precisely, and even mimic creativity to a degree. But only humans can truly see patterns, adapt on the fly, and act with empathy. That is why your small favor, your attention, and your willingness to help made all the difference." Eli thought about the people in the settlement, the thriving plants in the gardens, and the quiet hum of the colony's machines. He realized that human actions, no matter how small, had ripple effects that could change lives, improve systems, and create harmony. "And the spark," Mara continued, "is in recognizing those connections. Humans can see what is missing, notice what is overlooked, and act where machines might fail. That is what makes our species remarkable. And Eli, you have that spark." Eli felt a quiet pride. He had never considered himself extraordinary. He had always thought of himself as an ordinary engineer, doing small tasks to keep life running smoothly. But now he understood that ordinary humans could accomplish extraordinary things when they observed carefully, acted thoughtfully, and approached challenges with empathy and creativity. "I understand," he said softly. "I see it now. It's in the small acts, the attention to detail, the willingness to help. That's what makes humans powerful." Mara nodded. "And now, Eli, it is time to take this understanding into the world. Humans have always adapted, survived, and thrived. Now, with what you have learned, you can show others how even ordinary actions can create extraordinary outcomes." Eli smiled. "I think I'm ready." Mara led him to the balcony, where the city stretched out under the twin suns. The streets were alive, with people moving about, robots assisting them, and children playing in the gardens. From this vantage point, Eli could see the colony as a living system, a blend of humans, machines, and nature. Yet it was clear that humans were the spark that kept it thriving. "Look at this, Eli," Mara said. "The machines are helpful, but it is humans who bring creativity, empathy, and problem-solving. We notice what is missing, We act where guidance is needed, and we create solutions from nothing. That is why your small favor started a chain of events that led to everything you have done these past days. Eli felt a wave of realization. The small act of fixing Mara's gravity cooker had been more than kindness. It had set in motion a series of events that revealed his potential, humanity's potential, and the power of observation and care. He looked at Mara. It's incredible. I never imagined a single small act could lead to so much. Mara smiled. That is the essence of humanity. Small choices, kindness, attention, and creativity, they ripple outward, creating outcomes we cannot always foresee. And when humans work together, with care and empathy, the results are extraordinary. Eli felt inspired. He thought about the challenges ahead, the colony, other settlements, and the galaxy beyond. He understood now that humans were capable of facing unknown dangers, solving complex problems, and creating harmony where imbalance threatened to grow. It was not just about technology or strength, it was about observation, creativity, empathy, and action. I want to do more, he said. I want to help others see the patterns, notice the small details, and understand the impact of their actions. I want to make a difference. Mara's eyes twinkled. And you will. Humans have always shaped their worlds through attention, care, and creativity. You are ready to show others the spark inside them. The same spark that allowed you to see what machines could not. Eli nodded, feeling the quiet thrill of purpose building within him. He realized that the small favor, the breakfast, the hidden technology, and the mission to the settlement had been a journey of discovery, not just of technology, but of humanity itself, the unique qualities that allowed ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results. Over the next hours, Eli and Mara discussed ideas for teaching others in the colony. They talked about workshops, demonstrations, and small experiments that could help residents notice the hidden patterns in their environment, appreciate human ingenuity, and understand the ripple effects of kind actions. Eli found himself energized and motivated. He could see the possibilities stretching out in every direction. Small acts of observation, care, and creativity that could change the lives of the colony's people, the stability of its systems, and even inspire other colonies in distant star systems. By sunset, the city glowed with a soft, golden light. Eli stepped back to look at the streets, the gardens, and the people moving through their lives. He realized that humanity was remarkable not because of strength or machines, but because of a spark that came from attention, empathy, creativity, and small, thoughtful actions. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. Remember this, Eli. The world is full of challenges, but humans are capable of overcoming them, not because of power or technology alone, but because of your spark, the spark of observation, creativity, and care. You have seen it in yourself, and now it is time to carry it forward. Eli smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride and purpose. He understood now that even ordinary humans could create extraordinary outcomes. Small acts of kindness, careful observation, and thoughtful creativity could ripple outward, influencing people, systems, and the world. I won't forget, he said. I'll keep this spark alive, and help others see it too. Mara's smile widened. Good. That is what makes humans extraordinary. One spark can ignite many others, and together, they shape the universe in ways machines alone never could. As night fell, Eli returned to his apartment, looking at the stars above the colony. He thought about the journey that had started with a simple favor, a breakfast, and a willingness to help. He realized that humans, with their empathy, creativity, and attention to detail, could leave a mark on the galaxy that no machine could replicate. For the first time in his life, Eli felt truly capable of making a difference not through machines, not through strength, but through the spark of humanity inside him. He knew the universe was full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. And he also knew that humans, ordinary as they might seem, had the spark to face them, solve them, and leave the world better than they found it. He smiled, feeling the quiet warmth of pride and excitement. Mara had shown him the way, But it was his spark, his humanity that would carry him forward. And somewhere, Mara watched, knowing that one small favor had grown into something much larger than either of them could have imagined. It had revealed the extraordinary potential of humans, and the universe would never be the same. Eli looked at the stars, ready to embrace the future. Small acts, attention, curiosity, empathy. These were the tools of humanity, and he was ready to use them, lighting sparks wherever he went, showing the universe what humans were truly capable of. The journey that began with a simple favor had led him to discover the true power of humanity, and Eli knew one thing for certain. Humans would continue to inspire, create, and shine, no matter how vast the galaxy.